as I said before, going back to one of the questions here, so if you're wanting to build something around machine learning, really try to understand what is the value. Technology is exciting, but value is more exciting, and that's the value is what we should all focus on. Have that perspective in what you do.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to your favorite CX show, the Engati CX show. My name is Rahul, and today you guys are in for a treat. We have somebody really awesome on the show. We have a machine learning expert with us today. But before I introduce you to our guest, let me introduce you to the magic of Engati. Engati is the world's leading multilingual no-code chatbot platform available across 14 channels with 35,000 bots created across 186 countries in every domain and use case. Engati has also been recognized as a top platform by Inc.com, TechWorld, CIO, and many others. We run the Engati blog, the video channel, of course, and the Engati CX podcast that you guys have seemed to love a lot, receiving upwards of 400,000 visitors annually. And now for our amazing guest, we have none other than Rajet Krishnan, and he is the CTO and machine learning expert of Viking Analytics and the co-founder of Comsig AB, an R&D consulting company that specializes in the design of next-generation wireless communication systems and industrial IoT. Rajat is passionate about solving real-world problems with technology and working with great teams to make team products that customers love. He has more than 10 years of research experience in the areas of signal processing, machine learning, wireless communications, and applied mathematics, and is the co-author of several international peer-reviewed publications and patents. So welcome to the show, Rajat. It's such an honor to have you on board.
Thanks for having me. Just to clarify, currently I'm the co-founder of Viking Analytics as well. So I'm not just a CTO, but also started Viking Analytics.
Well, that's amazing. Congratulations to you.
Thanks.
Straight up jumping into the first question, Rajat, that I have for you is, how has the state of machine learning changed in the past couple of years? Now, I know this is like a wide range question. And do you also think organizations are becoming more open to adopting and utilizing these technologies?
Yeah. So going to the first question, how has machine learning developed over the last couple of years? Of course, a couple of years is a very short span for any technical field, and machine learning by itself has a huge history dating back at least 70, 80 years, right? So it's a huge area. So speaking about 2 years window is probably way too short. But truth be told, right from the mathematical foundations of this field that were laid out probably in the 50s and the 40s and the 60s, all the way into the winter seasons, because there was a period where there was a lot of hype around machine learning before the 70s, and then there was this AI winter or the machine learning winter where funding stopped, research stopped. And then in the last 10 years, there has been a dramatic pickup in research in this area of machine learning and artificial intelligence. So pretty much machine learning, if you specifically machine learning alone, dramatic changes in the area of reinforcement learning, dramatic changes where in the area of unsupervised or non-supervised learning. If your audience are familiar with the different areas of machine learning, supervised learning where there is annotated or labeled data has been the way many people have been doing it. But now, given that much of the label is unlabeled, and given the way that they want to replicate how humans think into an algorithm, you want to codify it into an algorithm, people are more moving into more semi-supervised, unsupervised structure. So really the future, people have started working on the future, which is really reinforcement learning and strategies and unsupervised learning methods or semi-supervised learning methods. So quite an exciting phase that we are in today, but it's still a small epoch in our huge journey, long journey that we have. So that's the answer to my first question. The second question, which is related to how our company is doing this. So to be honest, the AI winter was put to end by organizations themselves. I mean, of course, our universities have been doing a lot of research for the last for several decades, but companies like Google, Facebook, IBM, Microsoft came into the game in a really big way, integrated machine learning into their search engines and their and user experience. And they started monetizing from machine learning. And that's really when people started understanding the value of big data. promise of big data and powerful algorithms, right? So people have started realizing that powerful algorithms can really translate to huge gains to the organization. So organizations have started realizing that in different aspects. There are latecomers to the game as well. One of the areas that I work in is our heavy industrial companies, which are beginning to realize that they could use data and algorithms for improving profitability of the organization by predicting when machines will fail, by predicting when things will go wrong, predicting well in advance when things need to be replaced. So there is great degree of movement, but of course, different fields are in different stages of maturity. But there is openness now. A lot of noise, a lot of research, a lot of commercial applications being developed. So it's a very exciting phase, but it's very early phase, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's pretty interesting too, because even in the early phase, nowadays, because of technology, the power has come to the hands of organizations. Even small ones are actually adopting and being open to technologies like that. So interesting times ahead for sure. But moving to my next question, Rajat, that I have for you is uh, about building reliable systems, right? Because reliability is something that has to be focused on. So how can companies really use machine learning to build reliable systems that scale really well?
Well, you're touching on the most interesting and the most challenging problem that the community is facing today. Not the research community. Research community really don't care about ML deployment or AI system deployments. Machine learning systems, deployment of machine learning systems in the first place. Speak about scalability a bit later, but just the part of deploying machine learning system and machine learning software system is an extremely complex thing that we have never done before. We've done before. Companies like Google or Microsoft, they've done it, or the defense systems have done it, but it's not really, the methodologies are not as mature as as you would have in a traditional software development. Let me just give you an example why that is the case. Yeah, because in a traditional software, you have rules you know what your software is supposed to do. You know the rules of your software, and you have developers developing the software according to the rules. So all the corner cases, all the rules are determined, they're known, and the software developers just have to develop it. And we have a very powerful, organized way of building high quality software today. Though it's still difficult to build. But the challenge with machine learning based software is that these rules that used to be known before are unknown, because the rules are dictated by the data itself.
Right.
So now data becomes a part of the software itself. So when you're building and deploying or even testing a machine learning based software, you really have to test the data. You really have to test the meta information around the data as well. So you are slowly getting into a paradigm of software deployment with machine learning that has never been done before. So even companies like Google and Microsoft are still working out ways of doing it. We do a lot of research in this. We do a lot of deployments ourselves. So that's really one of the challenges. It's early days. Then this is really one of the challenges. Organizations are trying to figure out how to do machine learning, how to build machine learning based software much better, more reliably. So I can run an entire lecture around how difficult that is and what are the challenges and what are the ways to do it. But the bottom line is challenging. It's an area. It's a very exciting area as well. The next aspect of scalability is built on the aspect of reliability as well, because you need the scalability part and reliability going together. So this is a huge area standalone. There are many technologies that we can use for scaling, but really being able to monitor the performance of your machine learning systems and being able to manage it and maintain it and debug it and make sure that it is robust in its performance is really one of the most compelling change challenges we have today. So there is a rethinking even in software architecture design and thinking around how to actually do this. It's a new paradigm. So if you see what I'm saying.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Well, now that we are talking about machine learning and conversations are branching out, we cannot not talk about conversational intelligence, because that's one of the most used applications and use cases. So how has, according to you, conversational intelligence advanced with machine learning?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm not an expert in conversational AI or conversational machine learning. It's a different area by itself. I'm more of a specialist when it comes to time series data or data that has that you can see typically from a sensor, for instance. But just to give you my bits on conversational AI, right? I mean, one space, one direction, one future we are clearly seeing is that almost anything and everything around you are going to have a strike up an intelligent conversation with you without really knowing who it is, right? I mean, you take a look at the Tesla car today, or you look at the Polestar from Volvo. It's there's a brain in it which is going to have a conversation with you, and so there are companies are talking about multiple ways of multiple products having conversations. Right? So conversation, in some sense, is going to be ingrained in our natural lives, and that's really going to get into our way of smart homes, smart factories, smart environments, smart cars, everything. But there are also other developments happening with conversational AI. For instance, I mean, think about it, right? I'm a researcher, so an immediate thinking that I would have, where there's a lot of work happening today. Thousands. Imagine, I mean, if you're a machine learning researcher, there are thousands of papers being written now. If I could develop a software that would scan all these conversational text, because you write a paper, it's a conversational text here there, and how would it be if that could be aggregated and organized into knowledge by itself, right? I mean, or you get the AI to write a book based on 1,000,000 papers, or you get somebody to look at to read all the law books in India and start fighting cases for people, right? I mean, and there are so many applications we are thinking about. We are really at the beginning, at the real beginning of a huge dramatic disruption, and it's going to take several years, if not decades. But this is where things are going, yeah.
Absolutely.
And along the lines of what you guys are also up to, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, that was a really smart answered question, and what really excites me is the ability to be able to have conversations with non-living things, and and going back and forth and actually coming with something that is really helpful and makes life easier for the customers too.
But this is exactly where it's going, right? I mean, people are, what is a living thing and what is not talking about philosophy here, but what is a living thing and what is non-living? Can we create superhumans? Can we integrate, augment human beings with artificial intelligence so that we can have superhumans or another species which are way smarter than we are. So there are many directions, there are many thinkings, thoughts, a lot of research happening in all these areas that I'm talking to you about.
Absolutely. I think it isn't far away that we have real life Avengers around us, so that'd be exciting.
No, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, let's put a number to it, right? I mean, I think probably in a few decades we should probably, my kids would see it. I'm quite certain about it.
Right. Amazing. I'm excited. Well, and next, coming to my next question is, how can AI really help in effectively deploying advanced, human-centered machine learning models? Because I think that is really important when we talk about technology. It has to be human-centered. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So human-centric applications. That's the first question.
True.
That itself is a very, very exciting area, right? I mean, why would you? Nobody really cares about AI or machine learning if it's not going to bring value to the end user, and in this particular case, the human beings, right? Absolutely. In many situations, right? So they don't really care if you're using if you use the deep neural network with 1,000,000 layers and 1,000,000,000 parameters. Nobody really cares about those kinds of shit. But only one thing that they care about is value. Is it experience? Is it enhancing the experience of the users or the consumers of these applications? And if you start from that way of thinking, that itself is something that is going to be the driving force for a lot of the commercial development around machine learning itself. So that's one side. That's my comment on the machine learning driven based human-centric applications. On the other hand, the next part of the question, which is enabling AI to do the deployment. Now, can we have machines as Tesla, who was saying this? I think it was Elon Musk who said that his gigafactory is going to be a place where machines build machines. Are we mature enough to be in a situation where algorithms are going to create other algorithms, or non-human systems are going to create new applications? Pretty far-sighted, pretty far off into the future, I would say. But probably we don't even have the underlying technologies to actually enable that. As I said before, just even getting human beings to do this properly, right? Human beings should develop AI, machine learning, or useful human-centric AI applications. Getting human beings to build itself been a big challenge. Sure. And truth be told, I really don't think an AI will take over and get that going. It's always a part of our wish list. We always think 200 years into we think about stuff well in advance, right? I mean, but I think we have a long way before that happens. Generic artificial intelligence is a long way forward. We are not even close. Where there would be a software that will have all the intelligence exceeding humans or whatever to be able to be doing things in a more generic way. In general, deployments can be very specific. The way we have engineered systems, there can be a lot of specificities in the way deployment happens, and then that really goes along. That really goes against the way thinking of artificial intelligence by itself, because the way we think about artificial intelligence today is how do we generalize? The level of generalizability is what we think about artificial intelligence. Yeah, many of the algorithms or systems that we build, the more generic it becomes, the more generic way it can be used that it operates, the more intelligent it is. And then deployments can also be very, very specific. It can have very specific details. I really don't think it's going to be that soon. But is there a motivation? I know this question has been interesting for you. Is there a specific reason for putting up a question back to you guys? Is there a specific reason for asking this question, or is there a specific reason for interest around this area?
Yeah, I think it's more of interest based because I think times are exciting now, and the general imagination has gone 200x now. So I think
that's
the
point,
questions come up like that. So
but the reality is that the reality of the technology world that we live in today does not really support that today, and I think we are. Well, maybe somebody at Microsoft is already doing it. Maybe there's already but no, it's a long way.
Right. So all the AI enthusiasts in the audience, you have a problem to fix. So here's your opportunity.
Well, to be honest with you, I have this aspect of also investing in extremely exciting activities, startups, projects myself. So if anybody ends up saying that, hey, I have figured out a way to do this with a machine, with the software, automate to achieve a great degree of automation with software for deploying machine learning models, let me know. I'd be willing to invest. I'll even buy you out, So.
There you have it, guys. Exclusively on Engati CX. Well, this has been a great, fantastic conversation, Rajet. I mean, it was fun and so many fresh insights. So before we close out, are there any other thoughts that you'd like to, any sound bites you'd like to leave for our audience today?
Well, we are living in very exciting times, right? I mean, I'm not so sure about what your audience are also looking forward to, but first, definitely the first message is stay as positive as possible. I mean, these are very hard times. Human beings have survived some stuff's worse than this, so don't make a big deal out of it. Survive, keep your heads up, survive, things will get better. On the other hand, there's a lot of hype around what machine learning is capable of doing. There's a lot of hype around what artificial intelligence is all about. There's a lot of confusion about in terms of what is what, why are they different, and so on and so forth. So try to understand as I said before, going back to one of the questions here, so if you're wanting to build something around machine learning, really try to understand what is the value. Technology is exciting, but value is more exciting, and that's the value is what we should all focus on. Have that perspective in what you do.
Right. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We have Rajet Krishnan dropping gems on Engati CX. Well, thank you so much, Rajat, for giving us your time. Your insights were amazing, and the audience are really going to enjoy the interview.
Okay, thanks a lot. Thanks for having me, Rahul. And by the way, I come from your part, from Kerala, so we could have had the discussion in another language.
Oh yeah, oh, that was great. Well, you have to watch out for season 2 in Malayalam coming soon. So,
all right, see you guys. Nice talking to you. All right, bye.
So we'll be back with a new episode and a brand new expert soon. So stay tuned and see you around for the next one.